Hello all, welcome back. In this session, we are going to understand what is the importance of JSON.parse method and JSON.stringify method. And in the end, I'm going to explain how to construct the complex JSON object. Okay, in the last session, we have taken a simple JSON object, but in real time, okay, if you send a request to the server that get product details, it will send minimum 30 or 40 product details or more details. At the time, it will store that information in the form of like array of objects. Okay, how to deal that we are going to learn in this session. Okay, first of all, just focus on um, the importance of a parse method and a stringify. So if you see the parse method, it will convert, suppose if we give a JSON string, it will convert into JavaScript object. And stringify, if we want to convert JavaScript object back to the JSON string. So because the data transfer between the client and server, always we are using a JSON string. So that means before sending it to the server from the client, the information should convert, that JavaScript object information should convert into JavaScript string, and we should pass it to the server. And in the same way, server also, suppose if you call the get users or get products or get players, it will bring those details from the database, and that it will get initially in the object form, and then it will convert into string, JSON string, and it will send back to the client. So let's see, first we can take a simple example so that it's going to be very easy to understand. Suppose I'm just creating a normal object where the player, okay, so player name, so it's not a JSON object, okay, normal object, because whenever we create a user registration form, and if we click on submit or register, at the time we will read the text box or drop down information into uh, and we will construct an object, JavaScript object, and before sending that information to the server, we will convert into a string. So here name, suppose I'm just taking Virat. This is a normal object. That's why keys we should not use a double quotation or single quotation. If it is a JSON object, we should use a double quotation. It is a normal object. Okay, Virat, and age. I'm just taking 32 and playing for. Okay, playing for. Right now it's IPL has started. That's why I'm just mentioning. It's just playing for RCB. Okay. The simple JavaScript object. So now, before sending it to the server, we need to convert into a string. What string? JSON string. So here, let me log the details first so that you will understand clearly in the console what is the difference between the object and the JSON string. So if you see, if it is an object, it will show in a color format. So this is the string is displaying in a string green color and yellow color. If it is a string, it doesn't use any color codes. Okay, that is a differentiation at least to observe here. So now what we need to do, this is the object, right? This is the object. Now we need to convert into a string before passing it to the server. So we have a JSON is object predefined thing in a JavaScript, okay, in the window. So what we need to do, we need to stringify. That means we need to convert a JavaScript object into a string. Okay, even you can, if you see the definition, you will find out somewhere. So here, what I'm doing is a player information. Right now, it is an object. Now, it should display in a string format. So let's see whether it is converted into string or not with some proof. So log it. So if you see, yes, this is a normal JavaScript object, right? And it is a JSON object in the form of string. So if you see JSON object, the key should be in a double quotations, and the value, if the value is a string, that should also be in a double quotation. Suppose all the keys are in double quotation. So normal object, we don't have double quotations for the keys. So it has converted. Now if you, it has converted into string forward, even you can just check the data type of this result. Definitely it will be a string, and indirect checking here, we don't have any color codes in the output. That means it's a string, simple. So now the first task is done. That means we are able to convert a normal JavaScript object into a JSON string, and okay, we can transfer it to the server later. Okay, understood? I hope. Now, the second one, suppose if you got the data in the string format, if you got the data in the string format from the server, we need to convert that into again JavaScript object. I'm not saying here JSON object. We need to convert into JavaScript object, because if it is available in the JavaScript object format, normal object format, we can do it right with the help of a lot of methods and everything is there. We are very good to handle those objects. That's why. So let's take something into a string format. Okay. Suppose now the same example where player. So here first I will construct a JSON object and I will put in a single quotation so that it will become a JSON string. So player. So if you want to construct a JSON object, it should have maintain all the keys in a double quotation. Even we should not use a single quotation also. It should use a double quotation. Suppose here the Virat and age. This is also a key. That's why we should put in those things in the double quotations. And age, I'm just mentioning the same value, and is just playing for. Okay, again this is a key, that's why you should put in a double quotation. Don't forget, this is very very important. And CB, this is a string, that's why we should use again double quotation. We should not use a single quotation. I'm just repeating these things many times so that at least you will remember. If you do practice, you will remember, otherwise 100% we will forget. So this is a JavaScript, sorry, this is a JSON object. This is a JSON object, but the information may come in the form of string. So just put the whole JSON object into in the single quotation, then it is a JSON string. Okay, here I'm mentioning what it is. It is a JSON string. JSON string. So let me do a console.log so that you will understand whether it's a string or not easily. Layer. So if you see, it's clearly a string because it's not using any color codes by VS Code. So now what we need to do, we need to convert this JSON string into JavaScript object. It's very simple. How to convert it? What is the method we have? We should use JSON.parse. And if we give any string, okay, JSON string, okay, just remember what it is, JSON. So if you give any JSON string, it will convert into JavaScript object. That's fantastic. So now, so if you see, this is a JSON string, right? So if you see, the keys are in double quotations. Keys are in double quotation, and values are also in a double quotation and a normal for number for a JSON string. But when it comes to the JavaScript object, it is successfully converted. So now for the keys, we no need to use double quotations or single quotations, and values, if it is a string, either we can use single quotation or double quotation in the object, normal JavaScript object, and it is perfectly working. I hope you guys understood clearly. Yes or no? Okay, please do practice one or two times, so it's going to be very easy. But remember, these are the very very important methods. So I will, okay, if you just go to the documentation, official documentation, you will find much more information. So the rules and regulations for constructing JavaScript JSON object, and how to use the parse and stringify. They have mentioned lots of with the help of examples, so that it will be helpful. Okay, I will mention this URL in the description also, so that you can easily find out that. And here, okay, I told you in the initial discussion that after understanding JSON.parse and JSON.stringify, we are going to understand how to deal with a complex JSON information. Okay, if you see, if you just go to the JSON placeholders, this is the, like, it will provide some fake API so that for practice purpose. Okay, practice purpose. So if you see, it's just providing a posts. Just let's just open. So whenever you send a request to the server, he will send information in this format. Okay, this is the JSON format. Observe carefully. So if the keys are in double quotations, okay, that is a thumb rule that okay, this is a JSON object. Keys are in double quotation, and values, if it is a string, that is in double quotation. If it is a number, we don't need to use the double quotation. It's going to the normal fashion. So in the last session, we understand how to create a simple object, JSON object, but this is very complex. So if you see, it's just sending hundred posts information. So how to handle that? It's very simple. It's very simple. So if you see, if we just go to users, okay, he's just sending information about the 10 user details. Again, it is in a JSON object. Now, we thought that every time we say that JSON object, okay, we understood this much. Okay, okay, we can create a object like ID, name, username, email ID, password. We will follow. Keys should be always in the double quotations. And inside of that, if we have any object, again, we need to follow the same structure, or any key which is there in the JSON object, it should be either with a nested object or normal object. Always it should we should use a double quotation. But if you observe carefully here, array is also there, right? So this is array. That means he's sending information in the form of array of objects. Okay, that is 100% valid. Okay, so let's create some object in that fashion. Okay, so here again I'm just taking var players, so we can consider Indian cricket team players. So if you want to if suppose with the help of REST API, normally once you start doing projects, of course we are learning React.js, and if you miss, please follow those videos and recordings in a React.js world playlist. Okay, we already started learning React.js and we are going to do projects there. You will understand the things in a real time. Okay, fine. Here, the complex objects, the players information. Suppose if you like get users or okay, get players. So at the time, what it will do, it will send a request to the server, and server will take the information from the database of all the user details or all the players details. Okay, players, it's a plural, right? So it will give a information about the multiple persons or multiple users details. So at the time, so what so it you can we can take in this format. So we can take in this format. This is absolutely perfect. So just take one object for one user, another object for another user. So then you can construct anyway. So here I'm taking simple players. I'm just taking a simple example. First name, okay, Virat. Okay, we'll start with the openers. Okay, Rohit, and last name, okay, Sharma, and suppose age, or we can say matches or age. Okay, let me just go with the age. Age is 23. I hope you guys understood. Oh, I did some mistake, right? I did some mistake. Did you guys observe? What's the mistake? What's the mistake? So if you see, if you are constructing the JSON object, what we need to do? We should we should put things in the double quotation, right? You should not forget. Most of the time we will forget this and we will try to do in a normal JavaScript object format. So I'm just constructing a complex JSON object. Okay, so that JSON means it should be the keys should be in a double quotation. Perfect. Perfect. Now I'm just taking the same details, copy paste, and update the first name as Virat and the last name as Kohli. Suppose age 32 and Rohit Sharma age 32 something. Okay, suppose if you have a 10 players, so just do in a similar fashion, just copy paste and do copy paste, do copy paste and update all the players information. So now it is a complex data, but you don't need to worry about anything. So same, if you want to convert a JSON object into a JSON string, you can use a stringify, and if you want to convert a normal JavaScript object into string, okay, that's what I'm vice versa. Okay, so you don't need to worry about that. Sometimes don't get surprised that okay, Raghu, we have learned just a JSON object, but they are sending information in the form of array that is 100% valid. Okay, we can call this is a JSON objects information in the form of array, but just simply we can call it as a JSON object. That's it, simple JSON information or something. So all methods and everything is same. Suppose if you want to read the information, okay, that's tough, right, for us? No, it's very simple. So if you see, just do console.log players. Okay, just clear. You will get whole node app. So you got the information. Now, if, observe carefully one thing. So suppose if you have just defined a JSON object, even though here you didn't convert JSON object into JavaScript object. So it's naturally whenever you try to read the information, this okay JavaScript engine treat that it's a normal object and it will provide the information. You see here it's not showing the double quotations. It's not showing the double quotation. Observe carefully. So here what I'm talking, whenever you have a JSON object and whenever you do a console.log, it is printing like normal JavaScript object. Okay. If you have a JSON string, if you want to convert into JavaScript object, you need to do a parsing. You need to do parse. Then only you will see JSON JavaScript object. Observe carefully. Maybe sometimes there is a chance for confusion. So this is normal thing, right? So how you can use normal JavaScript object, you can play with just JSON object also. But normally in real time, we don't play with a JSON object because the server will get the information in the object format and it will convert into JSON string, and we will get the information in the form of string, and we will convert into a normal JavaScript object only. And from front end to the server, we will take all the registration information of the user and we will construct normal JavaScript object, and before sending it to the server we will convert into JSON string. Okay, so that we don't have any problem for this. So hopefully, so and if you want to see this is array of information, right? So just go with the I want to see the details at the index number 0. That's absolutely fine. You will get Rohit Sharma details, and if you want to see the index, what is the details at index number 1, so it will give a Virat Kohli details. That's just fantastic. Okay, is enough, or can I cover one more interesting thing? So if you see in real time how we will, because if you send a request to the server with this API, you will get the information, right? Suppose, yeah, but here we have a method JSON, so that once you got the response and we are using this JSON method, so it will convert that JSON string into JSON object for us. Okay, let me execute this in the browser so that you will understand. Okay, so already I opened. Okay, I opened. So just refresh. So just we have just do a console.log. So if you see, we got in the form of array of objects. It's a JavaScript object. You can directly utilize it. So this is the REST API. Don't worry. This is a fetch API. We are passing the information from where I got this URL. So just go to the JSON placeholders and just click on users. Okay, users. So this is the API. This is the API. So you got the information in the array of objects, and it is, just observe carefully, that is in the double quotation. And whenever you here, once we converted into JavaScript object, if you see, observe carefully here, these are not in a double quotation. The keys are not in a double quotation. Now it is a normal object. So what is the code for that? Simple. So once you got the response, just convert into a JSON. So here you will say that Raghu, you said if you want to convert a string into a JavaScript object, we need to use a parse method. Okay, yes, inside of this JSON method, they are doing a parsing only. But we don't need to worry about that. Just use response.json because this is a promise, right? In that promise, it is providing some another method so that automatically it will convert that string into a object and it will provide for us so that we don't need to worry. Okay, hopefully you can do practice. And if you see, suppose if you want to see, suppose I don't want to see the information in a JSON format, I want text only. No problem, just mention we have another method called text, so that if you see, observe carefully, right now you got the information in the object format, array of object. That's why you are able to see this information like this. Suppose if a string means, it will print like this. So if you see, this is a clearly a string, so you got the information in the string format. Okay, you can't see the single quotation or double quotation whenever you do console.log, but it is a completely a string. So once you got the information string, now if you want to do it on your own, okay, no problem, do it. So JSON dot parse of this JSON string. Okay, because you're getting that information in the form of string. So again, if you do this, if you do a parse, what will happen? It will convert into the object, JavaScript object. Fantastic, right? But in real time, don't try to do this. So just use already predefined JSON method. You don't need to worry about converting again into a thing. So just if you use JSON method, it will convert that JSON string into JavaScript object and it will hand over to you. And after, once you got the data, you can display on the web page or something. Okay, those things we can learn in another video or something. And here, okay, I want to tell you one more thing. Okay, so okay, it's already a long video, so I will cover in a separate video. What it is that? So suppose if you see, we have if you want to create a JavaScript file, just put so if you see like x.js, that means it's a JavaScript file, right? So if you put a p.html, means it's a HTML file. And if you do a css, means it's a CSS file. Okay, how to create a Java JSON file? Yes, we can create a files with extension called JSON. So that is very important. So if you see, most of the times you have seen that, okay, package.json, right? If I'm not wrong, if you already have some experience in the real time, definitely you have seen this package.json file. Or if you already work with a React.js something node modules, so you have seen package.log.json. So these are all JSON files. Yes, now you can store the information in the form of JSON object. Okay, suppose name colon. Okay, this is React app. Okay, you might have seen these things, and version, right? 1.0.0. Okay, all these things. Okay, don't worry, I will cover these things in a separate video. How to create a JSON file and how to read information from the JSON file um, in the HTML file, and how we can play with all those things. So those things I will cover in a separate video. That's all for this session. Hope you guys enjoyed. So please do practice. These are the very important things. So far we are covered all the things in a theoretical way, and we just understand the subject, we just understand the fundamentals, and it's time to utilize this knowledge in the project level. Okay, for that we are learning React.js. Along with learning, we are going to do a project, so please don't miss those things if you want to learn. Okay, that's all for this session, and see you in the next session with another important topic.